vehicle, that one is 30,000. Mr. Herrera, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client, Mr. Olivas, is 17 years old. He's a real young kid that was influenced by some people to do something for them. He got involved in this. His mother, Kathy, has been a good friend of mine for over 15 years, and she wanted me to help out her son. Judge, he does live with her, and he would, if the judge would grant a PR bond or reduce his bond a lot, they don't have much money, Judge. He would be staying at 500 El Paso, 2. His mother said that she would be responsible for him being there at the house. And he has 2 sisters. Jennifer's 22, Ashley's 19, and he's 17. He's the youngest of the family. His father doesn't live in the United States. His father lives in Juarez. So all he has is his mother, Judge, and his 2 sisters. And she really wants him to go home. She's hoping that this thing could get put behind him and hopefully move him out of town. She wants to move to Denver one of these days after he takes care of this. So if the court would consider reducing his bond or giving him a PR bond, Judge, and hopefully he can walk the straight and narrow.
All right, Miss Carmen.
Yes, Your Honor. So in this case, this was on the 17th. Officers believe that they were trying to pull over his vehicle due to a smuggling. They turned on their lights and were following him. He refused to pull over. He continued to evade at high rates of speed and then got in an accident. In that accident, 2 of the 4 people in the vehicle had to be transported to the hospital. There were 5 more people in the vehicle that took off running with the defendant, and 4 of those 5 people were captured. 2 of the people in the car that he hit were injured. At one point, he tried to flee from the officers going 90 miles an hour. He did admit that the gun was his. And that he, and the only, this is mentioned in the affidavit, but charges were not filed, that he had taken his mother's car without permission to do this. He stated that he was getting paid $750 for the 5 people he was per person for the 5 people he was doing this for. And this was the second time he had done it. The first time he had been able to get away from officers. He did state that he was fleeing from the officers because he had a gun. Due to the nature and circumstances, the fact that he was driving 90 miles per hour, and when he had this accident, the people that he was trying to smuggle were injured. I have concerns for the safety of the community. As he also stated, this was the second time he had done it. I feel that these bonds are reasonable for the safety of the community.
Is his juvenile matter, because I see a pretty serious juvenile matter listed here also, fairly recent? Are those still pending? Is this one of those dual jurisdiction issues because of him being 17, or are they done?
See, one has been adjudicated.
Because I see probation, but the modification is, well, disposition modification.
I saw that one. He has another one from 2021 that I don't see a disposition on yet.
I see the same thing on the PSR, disposition modification.
Yeah. Oh, he does have the second degree that he had on there.
Mm-hmm. I believe that all these bonds are set appropriately based off of the nature and circumstance of the offenses and the future safety of the community. I also suspect that there still might be something going on in the juvenile.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, because it looks like there was something in 20.
And those appear to be serious offenses as well.
Do you know what they are, Your Honor?
An aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and an assault family violence. And I would kind of like to keep his mother safe as well, seeing as how it's her vehicle. I'm gonna leave the bonds where they're at.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. This is Mr. Angel Perez, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Mr. Portugal. Mr. Perez is currently booked on smuggling of persons. The bond is $5,000, and evading arrest, that bond is $5,000 as well.
Muy bien, el señor Pérez actualmente está detenido por contrabando de personas. Su fianza está fijada en 5,000 y evasión de arresto. Esa fianza también es de 5,000.
He is represented today by Miss Julia Martin from the Public Defender's Office.
Él tiene representación el día de hoy por parte de la señora Julia Martín de la Oficina de Defensoría Pública.
Miss Martin, whenever you're ready.
Señora Martín, cuando esté lista.
Your Honor, Mr. Perez is a 20-year-old U.S. citizen.
Su señoría, el señor Pérez es un ciudadano estadounidense de 20 años de edad.
He has been in jail for 20 days.
Él lleva a la cárcel 20 días.
He regularly works in restaurants.
Él regularmente trabaja en restaurantes.
He assures me that he can find work if he is released on PR bond.
Él me asegura que puede encontrar trabajo si se le libera bajo fianza bajo protesta.
He does have an address to reside here in El Paso, Texas.
Él sí tiene domicilio en el cual puede vivir aquí en El Paso, Texas.
He would be living with his aunt, Lily Barraza,
Él estará viviendo con su tía Lili Barraza
and her address is you.
y el domicilio de ella, Avenue.
I have verified that address and she is fine with him living with her.
Yo he verificado ese domicilio y ella está de acuerdo con que él viva con ella.
My client has indicated he would be willing to reside with her.
Mi cliente me ha indicado a mí que él está dispuesto a vivir con ella.
I've also been in contact with his mother, Angelica Hernandez,
También he estado en comunicación con la madre de él, Angélica Hernández.
and she says that her sister is willing to have him in the home as well.
Y ella me dijo que su hermana también está dispuesta a recibirlo en su casa.
Mr. Perez is currently suffering from anxiety.
El señor Pérez actualmente padece de ansiedad.
He is being treated at the jail through EHN.
Él está recibiendo tratamiento en la cárcel vía EHN.
We have talked to him about Takumi if he will release,
Hemos hablado con él acerca de Tukumi si se le libera.
and he is willing to go to Takumi and adhere to any kind of medication schedule.
Y él está dispuesto a asistir a Tukumi y adherirse a cualquier calendario de medicaciones le otorguen.
We're requesting PR bond on both charges, Your Honor.
Le estamos solicitando una fianza bajo protesta ante ambas acusaciones, su señoría.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No hay nada adicional, su señoría.
Miss Carmen.
Señora Carmen.
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred December 6th, 2022.
Sí, su señoría, esto sucedió el 6 de diciembre de 2022.
Officers saw the vehicle the defendant was driving, speeding, and attempted to pull them over.
Los oficiales observaron al vehículo que el acusado estaba manejando en exceso de velocidad y trataron de hacer una parada de tránsito.
The defendant refused to stop and at times was driving at speeds over 120 miles per hour on I-10.
El acusado se rehusó a detenerse y en ocasiones subió a velocidades de 120 millas por hora sobre la Interestatal 10.
The defendant then exited off of I-10 onto 375, trying to cross into Mexico at the port of entry.
El acusado después salió de la Interestatal 10 y subió sobre la 375 tratando de cruzar hacia México en el cruce de frontera.
He then conducted a turnaround and then started on loop 375 again for approximately half a mile.
Él después dio una vuelta U y se subió una vez más al loop 375 por aproximadamente media milla.
At that time, he slowed down and 3 people exited the vehicle while he was still driving.
En ese momento él bajó la velocidad y 3 personas salieron del vehículo mientras él aún lo conducía.
He then continued driving onto US 54, once again at speeds of 120 miles per hour.
Él después continuó manejando ahora sobre la carretera estatal 54, una vez más a velocidades de 120 millas por hora.
He crossed into New Mexico and he crossed over into New Mexico and they continued pursuit in New Mexico.
Él entró a Nuevo México y continuaron con su persecución en Nuevo México.
Approximately, we went on for until mile marker 27, where he eventually came to a stop and was taken into custody by the Otero County Sheriff's Office.
Eventualmente él llegó a una parada sobre la milla 27 y ahí fue cuando lo tomaron bajo custodia los oficiales del sheriff de condado de Otero.
The 3 people that had jumped out of the vehicle were taken into custody, and it was determined that they were undocumented citizens, non-citizens from Guatemala.
Las 3 personas que se salieron del vehículo fueron tomadas bajo custodia y se determinó que eran personas indocumentadas originarias de Guatemala.
Due to the nature of this offense, the speeds in which he traveled, and the fact that he crossed over into New Mexico before being stopped.
Debido a la naturaleza y las circunstancias de este delito, la velocidad a la que estaba manejando y el hecho de que entró a Nuevo México antes de que se detuviera,
Feel that these bonds are reasonable for the safety of the community.
sentimos que estas fianzas son razonables para velar por la seguridad de la comunidad.
And I do believe that they're set appropriately. They're each 5,000.
Yes, Your
Y,
Honor.
y sí pienso que se han fijado adecuadamente, ambas son de 5,000. Sí, su señoría.
So I'm going to deny any reduction based off of the nature and circumstance of the offense and the future safety of the community.
Así que voy a denegar alguna reducción en base a la naturaleza y las circunstancias del delito y para velar por la seguridad futura de la comunidad.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
He was in the hospital.
Oh, yes, okay. So this is Mr. Osuna. This is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, FAM-V. Is this a true first degree, Ms. Carmen?
Yes, it is.
All right. The bond in this case is $200,000. Mr. Dowd, whenever you're ready.
Yes, Your Honor. The first thing I'd like to call attention to is we already had a trial date that had to get passed on because they don't have any witnesses for this case. It was still my intention to take it to trial as fast as we can get it, but they're not going to have any witnesses the next time either. This case is a self-defense case where 3 men tried to accost my client, steal his stuff so they could use it to buy crack. They called the cops when he pulled a knife on him and stabbed one of them. Then the cops showed up and arrested my client. Those 3 guys have been in the wind ever since. Nobody's been able to talk to them. Nobody's been able to get them on the phone. One of them may be out of state. It's not going to be a case they can ever prove. That's the first thing I'd like to call attention to. The second thing I'd like to call
The
attention
complainant's a roommate of his, because it's a FAM-V.
it was alleged that it was a roommate. That's right.
All right, go ahead.
The next thing that I'd like to call attention to is how long he's been in. He's been in a very long time. I believe it's coming up on 6 months just on this arrest alone.
Mhm.
He's not been able to make bond because he doesn't have any money to make that kind of a bond. I'm going to ask for a split bond, mostly PR with some surety, so that he can go back to living where he was and we can gear up and get ready to take this to trial. There's also been an offer that was made on the case last week by Mr. Hunter Griffin, which was for 10 years of deferred probation. So I'd like the opportunity to have my client get out of jail and prepare for the case and not have him sitting in there looking at that deferred.
Okay, Ms. Carmen?
Yes, in this case, it's alleged that the defendant gave his food stamp card to 2 individuals to go make a purchase. They made a purchase and purchased some other things. Besides the iced tea that he had requested, they purchased some chips. An argument ensued, and the defendant stabbed his roommate, and the roommate had to be taken to the hospital. So at this point, I'm going to say, due to the nature and circumstances, I'm requesting the bond not be reduced. I'm pulling it up right now. Let me see what the recommendation.
I do see judge's notes.
Okay, because the only thing I'm showing is TDC, 10 years
That was
TDC.
from Eliana Elizalde. That offer was, I believe, like 6 months ago.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I'm showing in my system. So I'm not showing anything that says that there is a deferred, that I could go ahead and say, yeah, sure, let him out.
So it was 10 TDC to begin with, then 7 TDC, new rec, 10 deferred.
Okay, so I mean, if the recommendation is deferred, then I don't have any objections to a low PR bond, a low split bond, so that he can be released.
What does the low surety look like for you, Mr. Dowd?
Let me ask my client really quickly. I was going to say maybe $1,000 if he can. Do they let him put $100 up to the bond company, or are they not
He
even
can do
gonna take
whatever we set it at, and he can either do cash bond or
Okay.
cash surety, depending on.
that? Mr. Osuna, what kind of cash or surety can you put together for your bond?
That's true right now. I could only, whatever, I only got 100 on my books. Whatever I can get from my ATM card. I'm not sure exactly how much I got in my account.
What's the name of the complainant, Ms. Carmen?
Angel, on how? Sorry, we both answered at the same time.
Yes. Better two than none. Okay. So I'm gonna split the bond, sir. 199,000 PR and then 1,000 cash or surety. I'm sure Mr. Dowd is gonna go over this with you, but let me just tell you as well. Right now, you've got a probation recommendation. Whether or not you take that, it's gonna be up to you and your attorney. However, you being out on PR bond, if you're wanting probation, is no better trial run for probation than anything else. So these are the conditions I need for you to abide by these. Otherwise, the bond will get revoked and you'll be put back in jail. While you're on bond, you're to commit no new offenses, provide and maintain your current contact info report as instructed. You're going to be supervised at an enhanced level of supervision. They will explain to you what that means and how frequently you need to report to the PR bond office. You're to have no contact whatsoever with Angel. Do you understand what I mean when I say no contact whatsoever, sir? All right, and you're not allowed to possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition during the pendency of this case. Do you agree to abide by those conditions? All right, Ms. Martinez, questions?
Mr. Osuna, where are you going to live when you get released?
At the Gateway Hotel, 2 Street.
Okay. And then do you have a good phone number for you, sir?
Not right now. I've been in jail so long, so my phone's been turned off. But I'll be getting one when I get out.
Okay. Do you happen to have an email?
Yes.com.
And do you have a phone number for a friend or relative where we could call and leave messages for you?
I don't have it on me. I don't have none of the numbers on me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
All right,
Judge.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good luck. All right, so Mr. Rutson is currently booked on criminal trespass and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. The criminal trespass is 2,000 and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle 20,000. Ms. Martin, whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, my client now has a place to reside. It is at JM Browning. I did speak to his cousin, Ricky Monsell, who resides there, and he told me that Saxon is welcome to live with them at JM Browning. My client reports no mental health issues or drug issues. He tells me that he can easily find work when he gets out of detention here. And if not, he's willing to go to the Texas Workforce Commission to seek employment, Your Honor. He understands he needs to stay away from his grandparents because the grandmother is the complaining witness on the UUMV, and he is willing to stay away from that address and not have any contact with them at all, Your Honor. He does not have any money to bond out. We're requesting full PR bond.
Thank you. Ms. Carmen?
Yes, in this case, the defendant broke into his grandmother's home. And she walked in and he was sitting in a chair. He was not supposed to be there. She asked him to leave. He said no. He then said he needed her car. She said, no, you can't have my car. He took the keys anyway, and then left with her car. So, due to the fact that, due to the nature of these cases and the fact that the victim was his grandmother, I have concerns for her safety if these bonds were to be reduced. Can't remember his criminal history. I just heard this case last week. Give me just a second. He has an extensive juvenile history, that I do remember. But I just feel that if he's willing to do this to his grandmother, that there's some safety issues. So we're requesting this bond not be reduced.
Let me see, I'm trying to find I could not find the denial reasons in his jailing. There should be some bond orders that are scanned, but I can't find those. Seven. Kenya, can you find them? So there should be there was a hearing on the 9th.
No, Your Honor, I don't think it was. He tells me that it was because he didn't have a place to stay. He self-reported that that's why he could not get out. Let me check on our module to see if we have anything, Your Honor.
Right, thank you.
It's denial, nature and future safety.
What is the name of the grandmother, Miss Carmen?
Mildred.
So, Mr. Rutson, because you've got a different place to live, I'm gonna allow you to be released on PR bond, but you're to have no contact with your grandmother. Do you understand that? So no contact with Mildred, under double supervision. No offenses, provide and maintain current contact info, report as instructed. No contact with her and stay away from her residence. Also, I don't want you to possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Martinez, questions?
Yes, Judge, thank you. Mr. Rutson, is your phone number
Yes.
264-2040?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an email address, sir?
I do not. Well, I do. Yeah.
What is it?
Email.com.
You said it was
Yes.
BA@gmail.com?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have a phone number for a friend or relative where we could call and leave messages for you in case we can't get a hold of you by phone?
Yes. 315. Yes, ma'am.
And whose number is that?
Ricky Munsell.
Montel?
Munsell. Munselle.
Thinking that was your cousin, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Warfield is currently booked on assault, family violence, bonds 3,000, and then a PR level for interference with public duties. That bond is 500. Ms. Martinez, why did we revoke his bonds?
Sorry, Judge. It looks like it was for the rearrest.
Other than that, was he reporting?
He just has no access to his accounts since he's been in custody. He's a U.S. citizen and lifelong resident of El Paso. He attended America's High School. He resides at 4 return there if released. He's a little bit worried about still being able to go there because rent was due, and he hasn't paid his rent since being locked up. But, should he be released, he hopes that that place will still be there and ready for him. He does have a wife here, 2 children, a 5 and 3-year-old. He also runs his own small business called All-in-One Remodeling and Landscaping. He intends to get immediately back to work and take some jobs that have been waiting since he's been incarcerated. Let's see. He has previously been a patient of UBH, where he received and has received some mental health treatment. He would continue his treatment with EHN should he be released per our plan that he and Ms. Mond, who's on this hearing, discussed and worked on. Let's see, he's received previous help from UBH. I know he told me that, he's well aware of his needs and he does seek help whenever he feels like it's really necessary. So UBH and EHN are nothing new to him. He also wanted the court to know that he does suffer from sickle cell anemia. He's been having a hard time in the jail, of course, getting the healthcare that he needs. He also wanted the court to know that if he wasn't able to go back to the home that he pays rent for, he would be welcome to stay at his uncle's at 7550 Mazda. He also told me that his mother contacted him, who I believe is one of the complainants or the complaining witness in the FAMV case, and told him that she no longer wanted to prosecute. I'm still attempting to reach out to her. I haven't heard from her specifically, but I know he wanted me to inform the court of that information. Thank you, Judge.
That she contacted him in jail?
Yes, Judge.
I don't know how that I don't know how that works. Let me see something. Miss Martinez, any luck?
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry about that. So he was under standard supervision and they gave him that PR bond September of 2022, Judge. He only reported for the month of September.
So, Mr. Gabaldon, he doesn't like to report.
Judge, he did tell me that on one of the terms when he was supposed to be reporting, he was an inpatient at UBH, so he was not able to leave. I know that he had told me about that previously. He also told our social worker that at one of the times when he was supposed to be reporting, he did not report because he was in patient treatment at UBH. Thank you, Judge.
Patrick, can you tell me again the address you said he was going to live at?
He was
Okay.
at some points staying with his mother, but he understands that's not going to happen should the court really be staying with her at all.
I believe he has quite a few cases pending.
So I think that they brought him in. I only see the interference with public duties. When they brought him in, they brought him in for a terroristic threat and an AFB. The terroristic threat was no PC.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a no PC because there was no PC or because the officers don't know how to write their reports. It could have been one of the two. I don't know. What's the state's position?
On the assault case, he may have been having a mental breakdown. According to the affidavit, his mother stated that he was talking in weird voices. He was in her bedroom. She told him to leave. He said no. She was trying to walk out. He grabbed her, twisted her arm behind her back, and then started punching her elbow as though he was attempting to break it. So I have concerns for the safety of the victim. I know that Mr. Gabaldon said that mom is saying that but I'm confused how mom was able to get a hold of him at the jail, to be honest.
That was my question. Well, and what is her name? Is it Lisa Rhinestone?
Einstein.
So
Lisa
she's not
Ray
allowed to visit. That's what I was confused about that too, because she's not allowed to visit. There's a flag here.
Yeah, I'm not sure the circumstances of him finding out that information from his mother. Just that when I asked him, he said that he had heard that his mother does not want to prosecute. And of course, I haven't been able to confirm that myself, but I want the court to be aware.
And the uncle's residence is the Mazatlan residence.
Correct, Judge.
And he does have some history, assault, drug history. So I have concerns. Maybe my biggest concern is the safety of the victim if his mental health issues are not addressed.
So this is what I'm gonna do. I am gonna release you on PR bond, sir, but with the following conditions, and if you could please, Ms. Carmen, have your victim's assistants reach out to his mother. So I'm gonna release you on PR bond, sir, standard level supervision. I want you, I know that you are no stranger to EHN or UBH, but I want you to be screened through Takumi. In the event that you have fallen off track with them, I want you to get back on track with them. Miss Mond, does that sound, is the screening going to interrupt anything that's going on right now?
Not that I'm aware of. I'll fill out the form and send it over to them so that way they can call him to set up his initial appointment and get him on track with medications.
Okay. So I want that to be your top priority, sir, is getting back on track with all of those things. I don't want you to have contact with your mother. Even if she has indicated for the time being to you somehow or another that she does not want to prosecute, it's very important that you understand that my order is that you not have contact with her.
Yes,
And she's going to be made aware of that order. So I don't want you holding it against her if she's not contacting you. I think for the time being, this is just what needs to happen. So that you can be out and not here in custody. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not allowed to possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition during the pendency of this case. I do want you to reside at your uncle's address and stay away from your mother's address. All
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Martinez, oh, and one more thing. So you had been out on PR bond prior for another case and you were not reporting as instructed. I don't think that there is any excuse for not reporting because You can call. If they don't answer, all that you need to do is leave your name, your date of birth, and a phone number where they can reach you. If they don't call you back, you calling and leaving the message gets counted as you reporting. Do you understand? So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
cannot stop doing that. There is really no excuse whatsoever, okay? Ms. Martinez, questions?
Yes, Judge, thank you. Mr. Warfield, do you have a good number where we can call you back? Is that a cell phone or a home phone, sir?
The home phone.
Is it for your uncle's house?
Yes.
What's your uncle's name?
Terry D. Warfield,
Terry Warfield, okay. Do you have an email address, sir?
Jerry Warfield, gmail.com.
And besides your uncle's number, do you have another number where you'd like for us to call and leave messages for you in case we can't get a hold of you?
My wife's number,
And what is your wife's name, please?
Jenny Loya Warfield.
Janine Loya Warfield. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'd be excused, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. See you tomorrow.
We're finished, right, downtown?